All right, I'm back. It's another league race. I'm just going to jump right into it. This is this is my best lap of qualifying, and we're now doing short qualifying. So if you've watched any of my previous league videos, you've seen us do one-shot qualifying. But with this season 3 that we just started, and you're looking at the second race of season 3 in Russia, we are now doing short qualifying. So you are seeing the second lap that I run in this short qualifying. Of 3. I ran 3 hot laps, and the first one was okay, but it was on mediums, I think. Which, don't ask me why I did that. I think that's actually, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to run 3 soft laps. 18 minutes, so you basically have time to run 3 hot laps, more or less. You may be able to squeeze 4 in if you get lucky, I think, but I'm not positive about that. So anyway. This is short qualifying. It's my second lap. My third lap, I end up spinning, so I'm not going to show you that. I was on a pretty good pace, but a spin pretty late in the lap. I mean, I was looking good, but just spun. So yeah. Anyway, not a great lap, but this one was pretty good. I was pretty happy with this, and it puts me in a pretty nice spot. You see the purple sector 2 there, which was very cool. I kind of feel like I'm discovering a little more pace. And actually, I think a large part of why that has happened is a little exercise I went through where I temporarily went full no assists. I was doing manual gears. I was doing no ABS. I was doing all that stuff. So you see a 132.4 there, which is decent. Puts me in second. I end up starting P6. My teammate Hal starts P4, which is really nice. But I thought that was a pretty competitive time and hopefully okay. But basically, I started doing no assists for a bit, and I was super slow. I didn't love it. I mean, I liked the immersiveness of it, but also it's like I don't really put the time in that I would need to put in to be competitive in that format. So I sort of scrapped it. But this is gonna sound dumb, but it taught me how to brake. I don't think I knew how to brake before I turned off ABS, and then I turned off ABS, and now I feel like I know how to brake, and I've been so much faster. It's not even funny. And I will say about this start, the start was not great. Started P6, went to 11th. I get banged into the wall right there. He ended up getting a penalty for that post race, but it sort of messed with my turning a bit. And it wasn't bad enough that I had to go into the pits immediately, but I certainly could feel some issues with the turning, and you'll see my wing get replaced when I end up going in. So I'm at P13 coming up on the end of this first lap, which is not at all where I wanted to be. I mean, it's just not where I wanted to be, just not good. And I generally, if you've watched my videos, you've heard me talk about it, I generally really want to try to start fast because you're sort of setting the tone for the whole race, and it's so important, I think, to have a good first lap, to put yourself in a position where you can not be held up by slower cars, be around cars that are fast, get DRS with some people, and sort of do pretty well. And then also, I mean, pitting is important. If you have a teammate, you get some double stacking issues. So just for a lot of reasons, I think it's really good to start fast and to start well. I didn't necessarily do that here. I got banged into the wall, which was not my fault necessarily, but it's something that I had to deal with, and so it's part of my race now. But like I was saying, I do feel like I've found some decent pace, and some of my fans will be sorry to hear that I'm not going the no assist route. I can think of one fan in particular who is not going to be happy that I'm back to using assists, but I do think it's just kind of right for me with the time that the lack of time that I put into this game and being really good at it. You see who hit the wall there. I kind of missed who that was, but I'm pretty sure, we get a virtual safety car here, so I think I'm going to pause it shortly or cut off some of the VSC. I do not pit here. I just stay out. You see the VSC ending. Yeah, it wasn't very long. I think that was early in the second lap that happened. We're now at the end of the second lap. VSC is over. So, yeah, that wasn't bad at all. But I am P11. I think two people maybe, or the one car spun out in front of me. Another car pitted in front of me, I guess. So I'm up to P11. You saw some debris on the track right there. I don't know what that was from, but Actually, I do think I know what that was from. Kenny gets a drive-through, 2 cars in front of me. We've had a bunch of people in the league run into this problem where if you end the virtual safety car with a negative delta, the game just absolutely murks you. You get a drive-through for it. So I think the way I look at it is I've been trying really hard to be super conservative when it comes to the first warning. Super conservative when it comes to the virtual safety car. I would so much rather be at a disadvantaged start, basically, be a little behind the guys that I'm behind, than have to deal with the drive-through. It's not even close. I mean, a drive-through is a race ruiner, whereas not getting a great start is just kind of annoying. I mean, it puts you a leg down, but it's absolutely something you can come back from. But a drive-through, it is really tough to even get points probably with a drive-through, but to really get a solid result for your team and get some points, the drive-through is just so difficult. So anyway, that's my thinking there. You see KB spun there. I get up to P10. We're now in the points, which is nice. You would think starting P6 that, of course, I should be in the points after 3 laps, but it's not necessarily that easy. You see my teammate Howe get the fastest lap. We get a safety car. So I think I do another pause here, if I'm not mistaken. It should be coming up here. Yeah, there we go. So we're back at it, lap 5, ending lap 5, I think, going into lap 6. I'm P10. We've had one person DNF, but the safety car was really nice because it sort of bunched me up a little bit with the guys in front of me. So because you saw I didn't get a great start after the virtual safety car, so I was a little bit behind. The safety car really helped me out, bunched me forward. Did I pit? Yes, I did pit during that. So that was another thing. I got a wing replacement during that pit. So that cost me a little bit of time. I would say probably 2 places if I remember correctly, just thinking about who passed me while we were in the pits. But I came out of that P10, and my thinking here is, okay, I'm P10. As long as I race clean here, I've already pitted, I should be able to get points here just because I've already pitted. I have my tires that are going to last me for the rest of the race, and the guy in front of me has a 5-second penalty, so that's only going to help me as well. So my thinking here is just try to race clean, take advantage of opportunities when I can, and try to get past some of these guys. So Moose sort of lets me by a little bit there. I don't know. He was not very aggressive defending that, which was, fine with me because I got the place, but I would be interested to hear what was going through his mind there, because I think if he had fought a little more aggressively for that, I did have a little more pace than he did in this race, but I think if he'd fought a little more aggressively for that, he would have been able to keep the position at least for a little longer. Hal, my teammate, with another fastest lap. You love to see it. You see Alex goes off course a little bit there, and I've got my eye on Alex here because Alex, I think, is generally a little faster than I am, if I'm not mistaken. But I do think that if he's going to be making mistakes and going off course like that, then obviously I've got a position where I can sort of pounce. So I'm just trying to keep these clean laps, maybe take advantage of DRS, stay within a second, and then pounce on any mistakes that he happens to make. And I will say, I think I had better pace at Russia than I expected to initially. I'm also up to P8. Let me also say, I think someone pitted there that was in front of me, along with KB spinning out and losing some places. But I had more pace here at Russia than I expected, so I did feel somewhat invincible on the track. Like I could catch anyone if I just put myself in a good position to do it. So, using the whole track, which I've struggled with historically, but I think I'm getting a lot better at using the whole track. Staying within DRS range, of course, is critical. My one big concern, I will say, was my ERS, and I have some problems with DRS. I'm constantly learning how to do it better, but I do have some problems occasionally with just overspending my ERS, just because I think it's probably most useful at the start of a straight, just the ability to sort of hit that jump start and get going. But a lot of times I find myself overusing it and sort of getting in trouble and running out of ERS. So I'm just trying to be careful and be smart about that. So you see me get DRS here for the first time. I think I might have a go at Alex, if I'm not mistaken. No, it looks like I'm not going to get there in time, but I am pretty close. So hopefully I should be able to pounce on him here in a minute. You see, let's see, lap 8, position 8. I'm feeling decent about the race so far. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that I had to get a front wing replacement and still find myself in a points position here on the 8th lap. I think that's partially helped by the fact that we only had 15 drivers in this race. That clearly would have been a lot worse if we had 20 drivers. But regardless, I think, points are points, and I feel like I'm in a good points position here. So I was pretty happy with the way this is working out. And I actually like Russia quite a bit. I'm the chairman, CEO, leader, organizer, whatever you want to call it, of this league. I don't really know what my title is, but I'm the head of the league, and so I have a certain amount of say when it comes to decision-making power and scheduling and stuff. And I scheduled some different tracks this year that we historically haven't gotten. We've got Portugal on here. We've got Imola. We've got Jeddah once it comes out. We've got Russia. We've got China. So there are a lot of tracks on the calendar this year that I'm really excited about, and Russia was one of those. I've had fun racing it in my team and stuff, but never have done a league race on it, so this was fun. And I put some practice in and felt like I was putting in some pretty good laps, so I was pretty excited about getting out here and doing this league race. And it was somewhat of a rough start, but I think it could have been much worse. You see Maple Bro also 2 spots in front of me has a 5-second penalty, which I'm always looking at people's penalties around me and seeing, what can I exploit? How can I be successful? Because I think I don't necessarily have overpowering pace as compared to a lot of these guys, but in a lot of cases I feel like I can match them at least decently closely in race pace, and so can hopefully take advantage of their penalties and maybe get a nice little boost, right? Because if you end the race in P8, but then the guys in front of you have a lot of penalties, then you may get P4, P5, P6, P7. So that was crucial right there. Alex slipped up just a little bit going into that turn, and I pounced on it a little bit. And this was absolutely a mistake by me. You saw I sort of squeezed him into the wall, and he reported that after the race, and it was cut and dry, a penalty. I think that the wall sort of crept up on me faster than maybe I anticipated it being there, and I just didn't leave the room for him, which was unfortunate. I'm sorry, Alex. That was absolutely my fault. I deserved a post-race penalty for it, but yeah, it happens. I also did run into the back of, I think it was Maple Bro there, which I hope that's not why he pitted, but it did. I think I was actually fine from it. I don't know that I actually checked with Jeff, the engineer, to see if it caused any problems, but I think it was actually fine. So the position here is that we're on lap 10. I'm in P6, and just looking at who's around me. So we got Boy for Jesus in 4th, really fast guy. He's on softs. I'm on mediums. There's no way I catch him unless he messes up, frankly. We've got Ghost in front of me, who is also on mediums, probably about the same age, if I'm not mistaken, of tire age, not birthday age. I don't know. Maybe we are close in birthday age. But anyway, tire age, we're definitely pretty close, I think. And he is he's fast, but I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I think I qualified pretty close to him. So we should be pretty close. He's got good race pace, though. He's a tough guy to catch, but I feel like I can give it a go, use some ERS and try to catch up with him. The downside, though, is I've got Moose behind me, and Moose has got 8 seconds of penalties, which is good. I think that's going to help me here, but he is less than a second behind me, so he's got this DRS, and it looks like he's not racing as consistently as I am today, so I felt pretty good about that. But, he's got DRS every single lap, and I kind of felt like, first of all, it's just kind of a matter of time until he catches me, but also I've got to be smart about my ERS usage because I have to balance trying to catch ghosts, but also trying to fend moose off a little bit. And at a certain point here, I was thinking maybe I just let him pass and get the DRS benefit from him. I mean, honestly, we trade DRS boosts, and we, it would theoretically be good. So he gives me that position back. I don't know exactly what happened there. I almost wonder if he went off track at the end of that straight and gave the position back for that reason. He said something about that after the race. I don't know that he necessarily needed to give it back to me, but he did. And I think for what it's worth, I think next DRS opportunity, I would have taken it back from him. So I don't know that it made a big difference in the grand scheme of things, but he did sort of hand me that position back, which was interesting. But good if he did go off track, and I don't know if the game told him. I don't know if the game even does that, tells you to give back places. I think it does actually, but I don't know if that was the case or if he just felt like it was the right thing to do. But either way, I mean, good sportsmanship by him, I guess. He's a guy that I really enjoy racing with. I mean, all these guys, it's a really good group of racers, which is really nice in a league. People can be upset about penalties from time to time, but I think that's part of being in a league, right? I mean, these penalties are just some of them are cut and dry. Like when I sort of squeezed Alex into the wall, that was pretty cut and dry. It was a penalty. Him swerving into me is pretty cut and dry. It's a penalty. But a lot of these penalties, is it a racing incident? Is it the fault of X driver or Y driver? It's difficult. It's hard. So tempers or tensions can run high at points, but overall it's a good group. Anyway, I don't know how I got on that tangent, but it is a good group of guys, of racers, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I will say I really enjoyed this little racing that Moose and I did. I mean, this is one of those where at the end of the race, you're either in the position that you started before all this, or you're one position back if you get past, but it doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, so to speak, that you had a really nice race with somebody. But I mean, Moose and I are really going at it here for 4 or 5 laps, I think it was. And I think he had pace that was pretty close to mine, especially with the DRS. So, and you've seen me sort of just bleeding my ERS just a little bit to try and stay in front of him. And I've got it set in my mind. I need to have enough ERS that if he makes a really big push on the final lap, he's not going to catch me. Because I do know that he's got DRS, right? And yes, of course, he's got 8 seconds of penalties, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm probably gonna be fine. But also, I mean, the game can certainly hand out penalties that people don't deserve. So penalties do get removed post-race. So I would really like to beat him on the merit of it alone. Plus, I mean, I didn't know this at the time because I didn't really see how egregious it was. But I was going to get a penalty for squeezing Alex into the wall. So it was really important that I try to keep this place and try to keep as much track time as I could. And just a little tidbit here as well. I'm catching up on Ghost a little bit. I'm at about 2.5 seconds right now, but we're on the last lap, so I don't know that I have enough time to catch him. But I'm certainly going to try. You see me using a little bit of ERS here, just trying to stay out in front of Moose. Let's see. I get up to 12% there. I don't think I use any here. Give it a little go right here, I think. Maybe not. Anyway, point is, I'm doing my best. I'm pushing here. My tires are getting pretty old, so it's anything goes. My tension, I was very tense. Like my heart was beating really fast, and it was a lot of fun just racing with Moose here these last couple laps. And you see, I don't know if he spun out or probably not spun out. Probably just maybe missed a braking point or something. But it sort of removes some of the tense nature of me being behind him, but it's still pretty close. And I got almost within 2 seconds of Ghost. Yeah, 2 seconds of Ghost right there. You see my teammate Hal 9100 wins. That's the first Williams win of the year. We got a couple last year, but it's the first of this year. And just going to give it a go. And yeah, all right, end up with P6. So it was honestly really tough. It was a tough race. It was hard fought. But ultimately, I ended up with points, and I stayed P6 even with my penalty post race, a couple of guys around me had penalties as well, but I stayed P6. That was a really solid race, hard fought points.